Hello. Hello. Hello, good evening po sa inyong lahat. Welcome once again to our Gurong Pinoy free review for the Civil Service Exam and Licensure Examination for Teachers. For those who are new to this session, I bid you all welcome. And I am your coach for tonight, your English coach, Coach Sha, and I will be with you for a couple of hours. For those who have been joining me since day one of this session, again, welcome back and thank you so much for your patronage. Please do like our stream for tonight. And I also invite you to subscribe to our Gurong Pinoy YouTube channel and follow us in our Gurong Pinoy Facebook page for more news and updates regarding the different reviews for the different examinations. Wow, I can see here our audience for tonight is from different places. Hello to those from Cambodia, from Quezon City, from Zamboanga City, from Cavite, and of course, those are here in Iloilo. And I'll try to call out some audiences for tonight later on. Um, Allow me to share my screen. All right. So once again, this is your free English review for those who are preparing for your civil service examination and even licensure examination for teachers. I wish that tonight's session will be fruitful and productive for you. Allow me to begin this tonight's session with a quote from Viola Davis. All dreams are within reach. All you have to do is keep moving towards them. And I think your dream of passing the licensure examination or the civil service examination is just right there. It's within your reach. All you have to do is believe in yourself, have faith in your God, and especially put on all of the efforts that you need to put into in order for you to materialize or realize that dream. And good thing that you are attending tonight's session because of course this is one step for the realization of such goal. And so I invite everyone now to dispose yourselves properly and offer your personal intentions to our Almighty Father. Lord, we know that you are always with us and you love us. Give us peace of mind as we prepare for this time of study. Help us to focus on the discussion. Keep us from all distractions so that we will make the best use of this time that you made available to us. Give us insight that we may understand what we are studying and help us to remember it when the time comes. Above all, we thank you for the ability to be able to study and for the many gifts and talents you have bestowed upon us. Help us always to use them in such a way that they honor you and they do justice to ourselves and to others. Amen. All right. So I think we are all set. Let me just move to the next page. So for tonight's session, I have divided it into two parts. The first part is on a review of the different verb tenses, and the second part is on analogies. And so I'd like to, as I welcome you all to this session, I also invite you to interact with me, with us, to by writing down your comments, your answers, and even your queries in the comments section. Okay? So let's dig in. Let's begin. Yeah. Let me do the shout out first from those from Cebu, Butuan City, Cebu, from Bicol. I hope all those everyone here is safe. Your loved ones and families were freed from any disturbances brought about by the different typhoons. From Lana, I think all over the Philippines, and we also have international audience for tonight. I hope you will find this session fruitful and meaningful as you prepare for the whatever examination you are preparing for. All right. So the first part of the session is a review on the verb tenses. There are actually 12 verb tenses, but I opted to cover only the three. No, not the three. The nine verb tenses which are most commonly used. What you can find here, so allow me to just have a run through of the three major tenses. So when we talk about verb tenses, we're talking about when the action happened. So we classify it into past, present, and then future. So under each under each categories, there are subcategories. So we have the simple tenses, we have the perfect tenses, we have the continuous. Some of you may have encountered the word progressive, continuous or progressive tenses. But we also have, which I missed, which I intentionally did not include it here. We also have the perfect, progressive, or continuous tense. I will just discuss them briefly later on. So when we talk about a past simple, these are the verbs that you see only as one. For example, you see them is either study, studies, studied, but if you put them in the future tense, it will either have the will, shall. And when we talk about perfect, for those who have been with me in day one, in session one, I introduced to you, and even in day two, I introduced to you the perfect tense through the different items. So these are the verb tenses which are attached to the word has, have, and had. In the tenses, I think these are my favorites. And if you talk about continuous, if you can see the arrows, it's moving like this, meaning the action is ongoing or continuously done or in progressive. So they are usually attached with the verbs or the main verbs, like the word study is usually attached with the linking verbs like is, are, am, was, were. Okay. And then briefly, when we talk about perfect continuous tense, so you combine the perfect tenses. You either have the had, have, or will have, and then combine it with a verb ending in ing, like the one in the last row. So studying, so it will be had studying, but you have to attach the word been. Had been studying, have been studying, or will have been studying. So a combination of the perfect plus continuous tense becomes the uh, perfect either present, past, or future perfect continuous tense. All right? Sige. So we will I divided the tenses since it is easy for us to get confused combining all the 9 or 12. Then I divided them, put them side by side with each other, and let's see later on through the activities if you can get it. So let me begin with the simple present tense, or in this case, present simple. Just allow me to acknowledge my source in this discussion. I got the ideas from 7esl.com. So when we talk about the simple present tense, so these either you encounter them as is, are, am, or you encounter them as action verbs. So the first set is are, am, are to be, or linking verbs, which we call them, or you can also encounter them as action verbs, study, studies, and so on. But take note that a main consideration also in the discussion of tenses is the subject and verb agreement. So, for example, if you are talking about a singular subject, so you either use is, but if you're talking about you or I, you use am, and for plural subjects, you use are. For you, of course, you use are, by the way, it's not am. And for singular subjects, you add an S or an ES to the verb. So, for example, he studies. But if it's a plural form, the base form of the verb will already work properly. So, for example, you would say, the children study. All right. So, remember the subject and verb agreement. But if you turn the statement, a positive statement, into the negative, of course, you just have to add the word not. And if you convert it into a question form, then the arrangement of the words, there is a rearrangement of the words. So if it's an ordinary sentence, a declarative sentence, for example, or a statement, you would have the subject plus the verb, and then the rest of the sentence being the predicate. But if it's a question form, then you always begin with the verb, followed by the subject, and then the rest of the sentence. Okay, so you can see them in the formula I have provided here. When teaching tenses, I love to introduce to students that English is like math. It also has a formula to help you easily remember the what do you call that? In this case, you can easily remember the arrangement using the formula. So you can see there the plus signs. All right. Now, in terms of usage, I think this is the simplest, easily to be remembered, because in terms of usage, you just have to take note of factual things or habits. So when it is always true, like the sun rises in the east, it doesn't vary every day. It is like that, except when the sun is not rising due to weather conditions. So you use the simple present tense. If you're also talking about habits, then the habit is until now true, then you use the simple present tense. Let me check. Let me check some comments first. All right. So if in the simple present tense, I think these conditions are always true. Express general truth, habits, and then permanent situations. But a simple present tense can also be used to describe a condition that are meant for future. For example, when you're talking about future timetables, so what do we mean by that? It is a schedule pertaining to the future, but it regularly happens at that same time. So, for example, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. All right. Allow me to pause for a while. I'm fixing the comment section. I'd like to check your comments. All right. So future timetables. When we say future timetables, then we're talking about things that would happen in the future but are regularly true. So, for example, when we're talking about when we're talking about oh, so when we're talking about, for example, the leaving of the train, it regularly happens at 9 a.m. It regularly happens at 9 a.m. And so we would say, our train leaves at 9 a.m. Suppose right now it's 7 o'clock in the morning and the train is expected to happen at 9 a.m. Diba? It's future tense. However, since the train every day or at a regular schedule leaves at that specific schedule, so you can use the simple present tense. When of course you can also use the simple future tense. So either of the two. Oh, all right. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. All right. So when we talk about future, a condition also future after when or until. Like I won't go out until it stops raining. Last time, diba, I introduced you some conditionals. So this one is true. So there's a condition when I won't go out until it stops raining. So the condition until it stops raining. And then for journalists, you also use, I think many of you, you would agree with me that the use of the simple present tense rather than the past form of the verb in writing headlines is very effective because it makes your stories as fresh as it is, and so it becomes more powerful. So for newspaper headlines. And then with non-progressive, for example, I believe that, so you are innocent is all at that moment, but it is not progressive. When telling stories, I think you would agree with me also that when you do summarizing or retelling of the story, it is also more powerful to have your verbs in the simple present tense rather than the past tense. It makes the stories more alive. And of course, when you give directions or instructions, if you can see, if you can check out the different reviewers you've had, the directions there are stated in the simple present tense and not in other verb tenses. Now, Let's try to put them side by side with, put side by side the simple present tense with that of the present continuous tense. So present tense, it's either is, are, am, simple present, or study, studies, will study. Here, in the continuous tense, you attach it is always attached with linking verbs. For singular, we use is. For I, we use am. And for plural, we use are, but it's attached with a verb ending with an ing. The ing form of the verb signals that the action is done continuously or in progressive or in progression. For example, he is playing for singular, they are playing for plural, or if you use I am playing. Now the same pattern, if you transpose it into a negative form, you just have to add not. And if it's a question form, you start with the is, are, am plus subject plus ing form of the verb. For example, if it's a statement, you would say he is playing. Transpose it into the question form, you would say is he playing? So you can take note of the formula here. And in terms of usage, one distinct characteristic of this is to describe the now or at the moment. So, for example, describing something which is happening at the exact moment of speech. So, I would say, for example, you are attending this session. So, while I am talking, that is what you are doing. I would say, you are listening to the discussion. So is listening. Are attending, are listening. When you describe an action that is taking place now, so if you have the graph here, for example, this is the graph, and the vertical, the middle of the cross is the present tense, although it does not necessarily happen at this time when I am talking, but it covers a certain span of the present period. So you can also use that. For example, we are conducting free review sessions for licensure examination for teachers and CSE or civil service exam. So we are conducting. Maybe I may not be talking to you at this time as a form of review, but for a certain period of time in the present, which we can consider in the whole month of November, for example, so the review is being conducted. So we are conducting a review. The same thing when we say John is working in London. So it does not only happen at this actual time, but at a certain scope in the present period. When you describe an event planned in the future. So what's good about the present tenses is that they could be used to indicate or to signal a future action. So the same with the simple present tense. For the present continuous tense, you can also do that. You can also use this to describe an event planned in the future. For example, I'm taking my French class. So what if I'm taking my French class on Tuesday, and right now it's just Sunday. So it will happen on Tuesday. So it's a planned action, and you can use the present continuous tense for that. You can also use the simple future tense, of course. I will take French class on Tuesday. So that's for simple future tense. To describe a temporary situation. So only at this certain point in time, I'm staying with a friend for a few days. To emphasize the frequency of an action. For example, that child is always crying for no good reason, meaning that action happens most of the time, is always crying. Or to describe changing situations. For example, her health is improving by leaps and bounds. So is improving. So there's a certain change in the condition. All right? Sige. So let's have a learning checkpoint. I'd like to invite you to interact with me. Please key in your answers in the comment section. You can also post your questions or other comments there. Let's have number 1. Every Monday, so let's take note of the time expression. Every Monday, Sally blank her kids to football practice. Drive, drives, is driving, or are driving. Can you please key in the number of your response? Is it 1, 2, or 3, or 4? Take note of the time expression, every Monday. Okay, and also take note of the subject and verb agreement. So our subject here is Sally. Very good. Yeah, I do agree with you. Because every Monday is a regular thing that happens. It signals something that is done regularly. That's Monday. And Sally is a singular subject. So we say drives. All right. So we use the word drive if Sally is a plural subject, but Sally is only one, so it's singular, so hence drives. Very good. Let's go to number 2. Usually, I blank as a secretary at ABT. Take note of the word usually. But this summer, take note again of the time expression. First, usually. Second, this summer. I blank French at a language school in Paris. That is why I am in Paris. So, which of the two verbs here combined together would work well in this sentence? All right. Yeah. So this one, the word usually signals a habitual action, like every, usually. And then this summer signals just a certain period in the present. Very good. Yeah, I agree with you. Very good. So for number 2, yes. Yeah. So for number 2, it's 2. Usually I work as a secretary, but this summer I am studying French. All right? Very good. Number 3, we cannot have number 3 as our response because the word usually does not happen only at this time, but regularly. Okay? And 1, but this summer I study French. This summer signals that it is happening at a certain period of time. Right. So the best answer here is 2. Very good. I think many of you are getting correct answers in both items. Let's try some more. Justin blank a book about his adventures in Tibet. I hope he can find a good publisher when he is finished. Notice that there is in our choices, there is the word currently to signal a time expression. So what could be a better verb here or the best verb to be used in this sentence? Is it currently, right? Remember, Justin is our subject. And currently signals the time expression when that action happens or is happening. So when you say currently at this time. All right. Yeah. So let's see if you got it right. What's the correct answer here? Some of you gave an answer with a question mark. So you're still not sure. Okay, here. So it's number 3. Currently, but not always true. Only at this specific point in time. So when we talk about the now, of the exact time of speech, of the certain period of the time in the present, we're talking about progressive tense. So is currently writing is our answer. Currently, number 1, currently write is wrong. First, because right does not agree with the subject Justine. Justine is only one, so singular. Number 2, currently writes. Okay. This is true in the present. It could be true, but we say that the simple present tense of the verb, there are certain conditions there. Either it's a habitual action, it is always true, but this time we say currently. So only currently, which then later on may not be true anymore. You may be able to finish the writing already. All right. Let's go to number 4. My father, blank, an architect. So there's no time expression here, but the father, blank, an architect. Is this only true for the moment? Is true at all times? At the moment, look at your time expression for the second part. At the moment, he blank a living room. So what pair of verbs here could fit this sentence best? The first one, there's no time expression to signal there. But in number 2, you have your signaled time expression, at the moment. All right? Yeah. So let's see if you get it right. It's 3. The father's job is being an architect. So it's always true, right? So you say is. My father is an architect. But at the moment, so only at a certain period in the present, he is designing a living room. So if we talk about the job being an architect, and if you don't find the phrase at the moment, then this could be true. My father is an architect. He designs a living room. But the at the moment phrase signals us that it is only at that specific period in the present. Hence, is designing. Progressive tense fits here best. Very good. So many of you got it right. Let's see if there are other choices. Yeah. Let's go to number 5. The children blank in their bedrooms at present. So take note of the time expression at present. They usually blank a nap at around this time. Notice your subjects, the children, and then they. Notice also your time expressions. At present for the first part and usually in the second part. Yeah, some of you are still getting confused. I think you have to be familiarized with the time expressions. So usually, always, most of the time. And then for progressive tenses, you would say at the moment, now, and at present, for example. So the best answer here is, let's see, 3. Okay. We can't have number 2 because there's an exchange there. So when we say number 2 would be okay if the statement would say, the children usually sleep in their bedrooms. At the moment, they are napping. So we can have that statement. So you you exchange the time expressions. We cannot have number 4 because the word usually signals that it is a habitual action. And to indicate a habitual action, we use the simple present tense. All right, so 3 is the best answer here. Great job for those who are getting correct scores since our first item. Let's have the last one, I think, for this set. Simple present versus present progressive tense. I blank coffee right now. Take note of the time expression, right now. But I actually blank tea. Which one do you think, which pair do you think fits best? There's the signal right now in the first part and actually in the second part. Actually would tell us that in truth, so if it is truth, then what type of verb are you going to use, or verb tense? Yes, very good. The correct answer here is 2. I am drinking coffee right now, but I actually, or in truth, prefer tea. I think in the last item, everybody got it right this time. So no one is confused here. All right. Sige. Now, let me move to the second batch. So the second pair. So the first pair, remember, simple present versus present progressive. Now, our next pair, we move to the past, simple past tense. Simple past tense. So for the simple past, if we're talking about linking verbs, then we have was for singular, were for plural. They were friends. I was her friend. Parang sad, no? Tapos na ang friendship. So, I was her friend. Now, if we're talking about action verbs, so they usually, they always come as one, usually with a D or an ED. She worked yesterday. I decided to be absent yesterday. So like that. But if you make that a negative statement, you just add the word not. If you transpose it into a question form, then the same formula. For question statement, for question sentence, for questions rather, for questions, we always have this formula. Verb, subject, and then the rest of the sentence. For simple tenses. So, were they friends? From they were friends, it's converted into were they friends? So I would say, I was her friend. Was I her friend? From sarcastic, no? Sorry for that tone. Sige. So that's how this formula works. Now, in terms of usage, we use the simple past tense in the following conditions. Of course, when you express a completed action in the past, like you would say, I saw a ghost last Friday, or I skipped breakfast early this morning. So, early this morning, it's already a past action. So, I skipped breakfast. Or if you want to describe a series of completed actions in the past, I finished work, walked to the beach, and found a nice place to swim. So because because everything here ends with an ed, and you meant to say that all of these are completed actions, you may or may have you may have the time expressions attached. All right. So in this case, there's no time expression. But remember our lesson on parallelism. Notice finished, walked, and found, all in the past tense to indicate parallelism too. Or if you wish to express habits in the past. Earlier in the simple present tense, you talked about habits, but habits that are still true in the present time. Here, habits which you may have outgrown. Like these were your habits when you were kids, but are not true anymore when you are in your 20s or 30s. So for example, when I was young, so kid, being a kid, I watched lots of television every day. But when it was young, when the person was young and not true now. Or when you wish to indicate, to express, to use stative verbs like be, think, know. So you convert them into their past form, like have or had. He had a small cottage in the woods. And I hope you remember the forms that the verbs take whenever they are expressing already past actions. So your simple past form of the verbs. Oh, sad for those who are having poor signal. I hope you get the best signal tonight so that you can join me until the end. Now, the simple present tense is paired earlier with the present progressive. This time, the simple past, let's pair it with the past progressive or continuous tense. So the same uh, progressive tenses for past was or were, then the ing form of the verb. See, she was cooking all morning for singular. They were cooking all morning for plural. And you use the past continuous form of the verb to signal that you are describing parallel actions. That's one. Take note of the conjunction here, while. So the word while indicates that there are two past actions happening at the same time. While I was washing the dishes, I heard a loud noise. But the first action, but one action, which is happening in continuous form, is interrupted by something, like was washing was interrupted by hearing a loud noise. Or if you wish to describe what someone was doing at a particular point in time, of course, in the past. Diba? Earlier in the present progressive, you're talking about a particular time in the present, here in the past. I was working in the garden all day yesterday. So all day yesterday, progressively, the action is happening or was happening, was working. Or if you wish to express an interrupted action in the past, similar to the first one, the first example. But in this case, instead of using the word while, you use the word when. I was driving to work when I crashed my car. So something is happening progressively and something interrupted it. And for the last condition, if you wish to describe a repetition, especially in relation to being irritated, like he was always complaining in class. So, was complaining, the person feels irritated, but at the same time, from an observer, it's also irritating to see somebody always complaining. So, he was always complaining in class. So, repetitive action which may arouse some form of irritation. All right, so let's see. Let's have the checkpoint this time. I prepared five. I think 5 items in this case. Let's compare the simple past with the past progressive or continuous. Let's have number 7. James blanked off the stairs yesterday while I blanked dinner. If you remember our formula earlier, while is usually followed by a certain verb form. Let's see if you can recall. So there's the signal word, the signal expression or the signal word yesterday, and then the other one is signaled by while. Which do you think best fits here? All right, very good. Yeah, so let's see if you got it right. Very good. So the correct answer here is 3. James fell off the stairs yesterday while I was cooking dinner. So the word while is always followed by the, the past progressive form of the verb. Let's see. Oh, everybody got it right. Very good. Let's see if you can still get it this time. We blanked the insurance company when our car blanked in the middle of the highway. Notice, however, that the time expression when is not all. Remember, it's to signal an interruption. So is there in this item will there still be a partnership between simple past and past continuous, but it will just be purely simple past or purely past continuous? Let's see. So there are varied answers this time. Oh, varied answers. Sige, let's see if you get it right. Would you? Yeah, there is always one. Ah, very good. Only one answered. Only one answered number. Oh, yeah. So yeah, there are many of those who got it right. The correct answer here is 1. Why not 2? Why not 2? Was breaking down. So was breaking is the progressive form. We blank the insurance company when our car. Remember earlier, the word when is to signal an interrupting action. So, 'di ba, the other one, while is attached with the progressive. While I was walking, here, the word when signals something that interrupted. For example, let me go back to our example earlier, ha? Here. Here. Remember, you see the word when? I was driving to work when I crashed. So the word when signals an action that interrupted when I crashed. So in this case, in number 8, the same thing. When our car broke down, not breaking down. So number 2 is not right. But we will not also say we were calling the insurance company because this only happened once. And in this case, yeah, we were calling the insurance company when our car broke down in the middle of the highway. Diba? You were not doing that action when something happened, but you called the insurance company as a result of the car breaking down. So here, number 8 did happened. It indicates an effect of something. The car broke down, and so we called the insurance company. If you use we were calling, then there is already a calling that happened. So at that specific time, we were calling the insurance company. and then the car broke down. So it cannot be number 3 too. But the first action here happened as a result of something here, the breaking down of the car. So number 1 is the best answer. Very good. Let's go to number 9. The first time I saw you, remember there's no time expression here, but we can use this clause, the first time I saw you, being our signaling time expression. So you can take note of that. You blank the guitar and Bella blank our favorite song by the beach. So we know the word saw happened in the past. What could be the best pair here? Do you think both of them should be in the simple past, or should they be a combination of simple past and past progressive, or both should be in the progressive tenses? Oh, varied answers. So in this case, the context is the person is observing the two others doing something. The first time I saw you, then, so for example, they were at the beach, and then the first time the person just came in, and then he witnessed what the two others are doing or were doing. Let's see if you got it right. The best answer here is 4. So the observer is looking at the observer is looking at the person while they were doing something. So the first time I saw you, you were playing the guitar and Bella was singing our favorite song by the beach. So there's a partnership here. So the two persons are were doing something progressively happening. The action was progressively happening when an observer came in. Okay? So number 4. Let's go to number 10. While it blank yesterday, take note of the time expression, we blank in the sea. What do you think is the best answer here? Let me wait for some answers. Oh, varied. Notice the signal yesterday. Okay, let's see if you got it right. The best answer here is 3. Remember the use of the word while earlier? So the word while is always followed by the progressive form. While it was raining yesterday, we swam in the sea. All right? So while something is happening, something interrupted. So we swam while it was raining. All right? Very good for those who got it right. We're swimming while it was raining yesterday. Here, the first part signals that something was going on, was continuously happening, while something happened for a certain period of time already. So here the second part is in the simple past. Notice our formula. While plus ing, V-I-N-G, and then another part, subject, simple past, diba? So that's our formula. If we transpose it, we swam in the sea while it was raining. Let's go to number 11. We blank at the breakfast table. Notice the word when. When the doorbell blank. So what do you think best fit here? We blank at the breakfast table. Is this happening progressively? When the doorbell blank. Does the doorbell ring progressively or ring only at one time? All right. Yes, very good. Notice our tandem, ha? While, we have the word while plus subject plus verb in the ing form. And then in another clause, subject plus simple past tense. That is also true. Almost the same formula is true with the word when, interrupted conditions. The word when is followed always by the simple past tense of the verb because it signals interruption, an action that suddenly interrupted something from happening. So the best answer here is 3. We were sitting at the breakfast table. So that is happening continuously or progressively. When something happened, the doorbell rang. Very good. Was ringing if you attach it to the word while. Remember our formula earlier? Yeah, very good. So it's 3. Let's go to number 12. Here, you see the word while. He blank a loud bang while he blank to his friend. Which pair best fits here? Notice the word while. And if you see the word while, what should you pair it with? Hello, good evening. Welcome to those who have just came in. Yeah, very good. So many of you got it right. Yeah. The best answer here is, let's see, 3. Remember the word while, it is always paired with a progressive form. So he was talking to his friend. And when you see the word while, something there interrupted. You can also say, while he was talking to his friend, comma, he heard a loud bang. So the loud bang is an action that interrupted something from going on or from happening. So the correct answer here is 3. He heard a loud bang while he was talking to his friend. For those who have just came in, welcome again. Yeah, it's okay. We are just on the 12th item. Now, let's pause there. So I have presented you 4 tenses: simple present, simple past, present progressive, and past progressive. Now let's go to the perfect tense. Now notice that even if you see the word here, present, all perfect tenses of the verb indicate past actions. Again, even if you see here the word present, all perfect tenses of the verb, present perfect tense, past perfect tense, and future perfect tense, signal an action that is already completed, meaning past. It is only called a present perfect tense because of the word has or have, which are in the present form. So you use has for singular and have for plural. But notice that it doesn't end there. If your verb is only has or have, then it's simple present tense. But if you have has or have, it's always paired with the past participle form of the verb. For example, has taken. So the past participle forms of the verb are ending in D or ED or sometimes EN, or they do change their spelling. In this case, I have tried sushi. Tried is the past form as well as the past participle form of the word try. If it is singular, so would say, she has tried sushi. All right? So the same formula, if you have it in the negative form, then I have not tried sushi. I wonder what's the question about interjection. So when we say interjection, that pertains to strong feelings. Would you like to clarify, please? What's the question about? In relation to, I think, simple past or past progressive ba? Maybe you can give me an example statement which you would like to us to analyze. Let me continue. So if you transpose it into a question form, the same formula, you just have to put the linking verb have or has at the beginning, followed by the subject, and then the main verb, which is usually in the form of the action verb. Okay, so have you tried sushi? Or has she tried sushi? Now, in terms of usage, there are several conditions when to use this one. One is to express things you have done in your life. Have done, meaning tapos na. She has never studied Japanese, or she has studied Japanese. So tapos na po. Nangyari na. So you have done it. To express number of times you have done something. For example, I have called her several times. So tapos na, and then marami pang beses. Or if that's a question form, how many times has she joined the review sessions? All right? Or you would say, I have joined the review session for 3 times. I think this is our 3rd session. Or if you want to express or to describe a recently completed actions or actions which are important at the moment. So you would say, I have some bad news. I have lost my job. So I have lost my job signals that something had already happened in the past, but may not be so important to share with others before. But right now, it's important to share. So, for example, many men would hesitate to tell their wives of losing their jobs. So they have to keep it until such time they found another one. So here is an example. I have some bad news. I've lost my job. But usually it is followed by, it's all right. I have found another one. All right. Or to express situations that started in the past but are still true right now. So if this is your, you imagine the cross and the, ano ba, di ba, past, present, future. So in the 4th situation, you can see the arrow from the past moving to the present. For example, I have known James for 4 or 5 years. Or you can also see them in statements like, since I have worked in the school since 2008. So since 2008, that's past, until now, I have worked in the same school. That's for example. Or since the first session, I have regularly attended the review or the free English review for CSE and LET. All right? So from the past until now, present perfect tense. To describe unfinished actions or situations, I've read half of the book. So that means in the past, I have read the book and maybe the person decided not to continue, or the person may opt to decide to continue. But in the past, I have read half of the book. Or to express present result, John has missed the bus, so he'll be late. Here, so has missed, expressing the condition for being late. Or when you say, I have already eaten my dinner. So you attach it with the word already. I have already eaten my dinner. Or you would say, I have just eaten my dinner. So parang katatapos lang. Right? Let's see. So learning checkpoint, this time the comparison is simple past, diba? I said earlier, all perfect tenses, the present perfect tense, even if it has the word present in it, signals a completed action already. So past action. So let's compare the simple past with the present perfect form. My best friend and I blank each other. Here's the time expression. For over 15 years. We still get together once a week. So what verb here do you think fits best? For over 15 years, what happened to you and the best friend? All right. Yeah. I think the present perfect tense is so clear to you. Very good. Have known. Oh, there's still one. So we cannot have know. The word know, my best friend and I know each other very well. So if that is your statement, then we can use the word know. That is so true. That is exactly true. So my best friend and I know each other very well. But the time expression for over 15 years, since 2008 until now, or beyond 15 years, they have known each other. Very good. Number 14. So we need to think of 3 verbs. Let's see if you can get this. I blank him to stay on the path while he was hiking. Notice this pair, the first part. We talked about this earlier. The tandem between simple past and past progressive if we are signaled by the use of the word while. But he blank off into the forest and blank by a snake. Okay, it's all right. It's all right. So what do you think best fit here? You have to think of 3 verbs. Ah, very good. Sige, I'll give you time here. All right. So I think many of you would say that this requires the simple past tense of the verb. Number 3. Sige. Okay. We cannot have the number 1, for those who answered number 1, that cannot be right because the last part will make it wrong. Bit. And bit by a snake. The word bile signals that it is in the passive form, meaning the I or the he was done something by a snake. So the snake is the doer. So you would say, the snake bit him. All right? If you use the active voice bit, then you would say, the snake bit him. But the word by a snake signals that it is in the passive form. So the correct answer here is right. You're right. That's 2. Now, we cannot use the word have told him to stay because this bluntly, the partnership while he was hiking. Remember the partnership earlier? While he was hiking, while is paired with the past progressive form, while the other condition or the other part of the statement uses the simple past form of the verb. So you'd say, I told him to stay on the path while he was walking. But he wandered off into the forest and was bitten by a snake. So the best answer here is 2. All right. Very good for those who got it right. Okay. For those who got it wrong, I hope you take note of the error. Good thing nobody answered 4. All right. Let's go to number 15. How sad. George dreamed of going to California before he died, but he didn't make it. He blank seen the ocean. The word never signals us that all his life blank the ocean. So think of the 2 pairs or 1 pair. Which pair here best fit? So before he died. So before he died signals the event. So this can be taken as our time expression. So all his life, so never, diba? Never. So all his life, from the time he was born until he is now dead, he blanked the ocean. Let's see. So varied answer still. Let's see if you got it right. The best answer here is 2. Only a few got it right. Let me see. So before he died signals that it happened in the past. So George dreamt of going to California before he died. So that was his dream. But all his life, from the time he was born until he is dead, he has never seen the ocean. All right. Let me see number 2. He never saw. So the word never. So if we say never, meaning from the time he was born until now, maybe if we wish to use the simple past, then we'd say he did not see the ocean. But he would say he has not seen the ocean. He has never seen the ocean. Hence, number 2 is the best answer here. Number 3 has dreamt, never saw. Okay, I think you have to exchange them. All right, let's go to number 16. Johnny, I can't believe how much you changed since the last time I blanked you. So there's the word since, remember? Since. And when we use the word since, usually it indicates something in the past. You blank at least a foot. I don't know if somebody was talking about earlier about interjection, if this statement could suffice as an explanation. But for interjections, you can use different verb forms. In this case, this is the last part is also an interjection, but there's a specific verb here, verb form here that we use. Okay, very good. Yeah, that's right. So the best answer here is indeed 3. Since the last time I saw you, so last time, that was the only one. Last time I saw you, you have changed. You have changed. And you have grown. Very good. I think you're getting it. Let's go to number 17. This tree blank by the settlers who found our city over 400 years ago. So we only have one time expression. Over 400 years ago. But there are two verbs. What do you think best fit here? Let's see. All right, so varied answers. Okay. All right. So the best answer here is 2. We cannot have 1 because by the settlers signal that it is in the passive voice. So this tree was planted by the settlers who founded over 400 years ago. There's only one time expression here to signal that these two actions just happened in the past. So, was planted and then founded. Indeed, yay. All right. Sige. I think this is the last item for this part, for this section. Listen, Donna. Listen, Donna. I don't care if you miss the bus this morning. So this morning is your time expression. This morning. You blank late to work too many times. And then another interjection. You're fired. So which do you think, which pair best fit here? Diba? Several times. Earlier we talked about several times. If an action has been happening several times. All right. Yes. Let's see if you got it right. The best answer here is 3. This morning, so specific, missed the bus. You missed the bus this morning, but you have been late to work too many times. Hence, the best answer is 3. We can't have 2 and you were late to work too many times. So, several times, diba? Perfect tense. Yay, very good. And the missing of the bus, you have missed the bus this morning would conflict with this morning. So, this morning, specific time in the past, hence simple past tense. Very good. Let's move to the next one. From present perfect tense, which is a past action, we move to another past action. Here, this time, past perfect tense. So, this is past because it uses the word had, either for singular or plural subject. But perfect, perfect because it uses the had plus the past participle form. She had finished the test. They had finished the test. So the same formula for transposition into question form. Now, when do you use this? I don't know if you're having information overload right now, but it's a good thing if you're jotting down notes or if you're getting screenshots of the text, of the screen rather, so that you can refer back to conditions throughout our discussion. You might get confused with the conditions from one verb tense to another. Here, we use the past perfect tense if we wish to describe an action that was finished before another past action. So, two past actions, but one happened before that. For example, Richard had gone out when his wife arrived in the office. So if we label which of the two actions happened first, it is had gone. So you indicate the first action in the past perfect tense and the later action in the simple past tense. Arrived, had gone. So had gone first before arrived. Second, describe an action that happened before a specific time in the past. For example, Christine had never been to an opera before last night. Again, you see the word never. So usually the word never is attached to or used in the perfect tenses. Christine had never been to an opera before last night. Or Christine had been to an opera before last night. Or to describe a cause and effect. So here the combination is, again, just like in the condition number 1, simple past, past perfect with simple past. I got stuck in traffic because there had been. So had been is the first event, which is the cause of getting stuck in the traffic, which is in the simple past. To emphasize the result of an activity in the past, so the same thing, cause and effect. I had been to London twice by the time I got a job in New York. So had been to London twice, that happened before getting the job in New York. So if you take a look at it, situation 1, 3, and 4 are almost the same. Partnership with past perfect and simple past. So let's have a checkpoint. Remember, simple past form versus past perfect form. Number 19. We blank at 8:05, but the train blank. What do you think? Which pair do you think best fit here? Meaning they were late. They were late in the schedule. Hence the train blank. Very good. Yes. Okay, very good. I think you got it right. So the best answer here is 3. We can't have number 2 because has already left. Has is present perfect tense. Has or have is for present. Very good. But diba, number 2 and number 3 almost the same except for has and had. So for the past perfect, we use the word had. For the simple perfect, for the present perfect, we use the word has. Let's go to number 20. Sarah blank, she to that zoo before. So the word before signals us that this happened in the past or both actions happened in the past. What do you think best fits here? Again, the use of the word before signals that it happened in the past. Okay, very good. So the best answer here is indeed 2. We cannot have number 1 because thinks is simple present and the use of the word before. Has thought is also in the simple present perfect tense, and has been is also in the present perfect tense. So we have Sarah thought she had been to that zoo before. 21. After Fred blank his holiday in Italy, remember our cause and effect relation situation or condition earlier. So this one this one is an example. After Fred blank his holiday in Italy, he blank to learn Italian. So something is a cause here while another becomes the effect. And to signal an effect, we use the blank form of the verb. To signal the cause, we also use the blank form of the verb. Varied answers. Okay. But we cannot have both past perfect tenses in one sentence. So automatically number 4 is eliminated. Yeah. So because we're talking about cause and effect, the number 1 is also eliminated. So this is between 2 and 4. Which do you think is the best pair? Or 2 and 3 rather. But the best answer here is 3. The cause, which is the first action, is had spent his holiday. As a result, he wanted to learn Italian. So the cause is spelled out in the past perfect tense, while the effect or the result is spelled out in the or indicated in the simple past form. So very good for those who got it right. But we cannot have 1 because simple tenses of the verb indicates an action that is either a habitual past or something that happened in a definite period of in time in the past and does not talk about cause and effect relationships. Okay? Neither is number 4 because both past perfect tenses don't go together in one sentence. Let's go to 22. After the man blank home, he blanked the cat. Notice the word after. So after signals that there's a cause and effect relationship. So after usually is the word after is usually followed by the cause. So which one happened here first? Is it the coming home or the feeding of the cat? 22. Let's see. If you're presented with these kind of statements, you have to check. If there are 2 actions, you have to check which one came in first or which one happened first. All right. So the best answer here is 4. Had come. The coming home happened first, and then he fed the cat. Very good. Let's go to number 23. Blank, I blank, very tired because I blank too much. So the word because also signals that there is a cause and there is an effect. And if it's a cause and effect relationship, the statement is indicated using the partnership between past perfect and simple past. We're now at 23. Yes, very good. Yeah, that's right. Oh, all right. Yeah. So we can have 2. Yes, very good. So the correct answer here is 2. Had studied is the reason or the cause, and it happened first before the getting tired. So I was very tired because I had studied. Yeah. So number 23 is 2. Let's go to 24. When she blank or when she arrived, the party blank start. Remember the signals earlier? Just, already, they are used with past perfect tenses or present perfect tenses too. But perfect tenses, they are usually paired with perfect tenses. What do you think best fit here in 24? All right. We cannot have number 2 again because has is in the past. And remember this section, it is exclusive for simple past and past perfect tense. And so the correct answer is, you're right, 4. When she arrived, the party had already started. But if this section is not limited to simple past and past perfect form, then number 2 can also be true. However, remember our discussion, I divided it into sections. So this section is about simple past and past perfect form. So just for you to get acquainted with the patterns or the verb forms that it takes. So number 4 here, had already started. Very good. So the last batch, I think I think we are in the last batch here. Simple future tense. I think this is easiest. Will or shall plus base form of the verb, not bear, but base form of the verb. I will go to Thailand. I shall go to Thailand. And we use it to to indicate actions that are decided at the moment of speech. So for example, as I am talking right now, I would say I have a toothache. I will take a medicine. So at present, but I will do this. So future. For unplanned future actions, winter will come soon. For offering or asking for requests, for example, or threatening or promising. Okay, and then for unpreventable, let me check. For unpreventable actions in the future, summer will come soon. Okay, so it will be true for conditional time and purpose clauses. Here's the conditional or the purpose clause. When I arrive home, I will call you. So there's a condition given for for a future action to happen. For thoughts, predictions, and so on. I promise I won't tell this. Yeah, you're right, Lady. So earlier in our discussion of has already left. So number 2 would be correct. The use of the present perfect tense is correct if it is not sectioned as that, simple past and past perfect. For thoughts, predictions, assumptions, I promise I won't tell this to anyone. Okay, so the contraction will not is, the words will not is contracted or shortened into the word won't. Okay? To make it negative. Now, let's pair it with the future continuous tense. So again, it's a continuous verb if you see an ing. And then you pair it with will be or shall be. Okay? Will be. I will be singing in the concert tomorrow. Will be singing. So let's stand them. Let's put together. No, conditions first. To describe interrupted actions in the future. Remember earlier, present progressive and past progressive. Your partner, when something is happening, something interrupt or interrupted. So past, diba? Past progressive and then another past action. Here, when you are also meant to describe something that is interrupted in the future. When you come home tomorrow, they will be playing tennis. So they will be playing tennis. That's a future ongoing action. And then interrupted by come. When you come tomorrow. So the playing is interrupted by the coming. To express actions in progress at a specific time in the future. At 12 o'clock tomorrow, we will be having lunch at school. So, at a certain period in the future at 12 o'clock, we will be having lunch. To refer to actions that are happening now and expected to continue in the future. So earlier, di ba, in the present perfect tense, it started from the past and continued to the present. Here, in the future continuous tense, it started in the now, in the present, and will continue in the future. Will you be bringing... Unfortunately, sea levels will still be rising in 20 years. So from now until the next 20 years, the sea levels will be rising. To ask a question politely about the future. Will you be bringing your friend to the party tonight? So that's polite. And will be bringing. To emphasize future plans and intentions. He will be coming to visit us next week. So progressively done, but specific time, future, next week. To describe atmosphere in the future. When I arrive at the party, everybody will be celebrating. So will be celebrating. Surely the atmosphere is that of happiness. To express parallel actions or series of parallel actions in the future. So notice parallelism again. Will be watching, will be cooking. All right? So in this set where we'll be talking about simple future tense versus future progressive tense. All right? Let's see. Number 25. Can you give me, okay, so 25. Can I help you, madam? Yes, please. Will you be showing me the yellow blouse on the left? So which of the two do you think best fit or best fits? Is it the simple future tense or the future progressive tense? All right, very good. I think this one is easy. You can easily get it, especially with the signal here, can help. So will you show me the yellow blouse on the left? Very good. In the next items, we will divide them. Let's have number 26. Can I ask you to answer me only the first one? Dog, from dog. If you need to contact me next week, I blank at the Hoffman Hotel. Is it will stay or will be staying? We're already at 26. If you need to contact me next week, I blank at the Hoffman Hotel. So next week, for a long period, the whole of next week, I will stay or I will be staying at the Hoffman Hotel. Very good. So here we have number 2. I will be staying at the Hoffman Hotel. Next one. I will call. I will be calling you if there are any problems. What will the person do? Will he call or will he be calling? In the second part of 26. Is it 1 or 2? We need 3 answers for 26. Oh, very good. So, I will call you if there are any problems. The last part. Don't worry. Dog says, this is the first time I have ever been away from the kids. And Nancy said, don't worry. They will be or will be being fine. Yeah. So Nancy said, that's right. So Nancy said, they will be fine. So to recap, our answers here is will be staying, and then will call, and then will be fine. Very good. Let's go to number 27. Florence said, so let's have Florence part first. Oh, look at that mountain of dirty dishes. Who blank? By the way, instead of saying will be washing, will wash, you can also say is going to wash or are going to wash. That's also indicative of the future. Oh, look at that mountain of dirty dishes. Who is going to wash? Is going to be washing all of those. All right, very good. So 1. So who is going to wash all of those? Let's go to Jack. I promise I will be doing them when I get home from work. Okay? Let's have the part 2 now. Jack's turn. What did Jack say? What did he promise? So when you make a promise, earlier, when we make a promise, we use it's, yes, 2. I promise I will be doing them when I get home from work. Let's go to the next one with Jack. When you get home this evening, that mountain, is it will be gone or is going to be gone? It's part 3 now. Okay, so it's will be, that mountain will be gone. Very good. So will be gone. And then that's the last part. And nice stacks of sparkling clean dishes. Is it will sit or will be sitting in the cabinets? What would be for the last part? Will sit or will be sitting? Very good. Will be sitting in the cabinets. So to recap, who is going to wash all of those? I promise I will do them when I get home from work. So that mountain of dishes will be gone and it will be replaced with clean dishes sitting in the cabinets. Right, so we'll be sitting. Very good. Now, let's cut and let's move to the last section. So this time, I'll introduce you to future perfect tense. When we say future perfect tense, remember, perfect, it use has, have, or had. In this case, you only use the word have. True for all future perfect tenses. But it becomes a future because we use the word will or shall. So shall have visited, will have visited, so on. So past participle form. He will have done it by this evening. So a certain point in the future, that action must have been completed. As I have told you earlier, all perfect actions are indicative of completed actions. Okay? And when do we use it? One, to talk about an action that will finish before a certain time in the future, but we don't know exactly when. So usually it is we make use of expressions like by this time tomorrow, by this time in 2022 or 2023, by this time in 2023, so on. We will have arrived in Australia. So by this time in 2023, you must have ano ba? You must have been employed already. Okay? Because you have already passed the exams and you have taken very good jobs. To talk about an action that will be completed before another event take place. So instead of by this time expression, it is replaced with another sentence that uses the simple present tense. So the partnership is simple present tense and future perfect tense. She will have learned Chinese before she moves to China. Or you would say, I will have ano ba? I will have attended several review sessions before I take the final exam. Okay? So, future perfect tense paired with the simple present tense. Or finally, if you wish to express conviction that something happened in the near past, the guests will have arrived, so completed, at the hotel by now. So there's still the expression by. By, blah, 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 future perfect tense. If not the by expression, then use another clause that makes use of the simple present tense of the verb. Let's have a checkpoint for the last part. I think because of our time, I think I cannot deal anymore with analogy. We will have it in the next session. Okay? So let's have, or maybe touch, because we still have 10 minutes of 15. We will touch a little bit of analogy if we still have time. By the year 2050, remember that time expression, by the year 2050, the scientists blank a cure for cancer. Is it will discover, or is it will be discovered, or is it will have discovered? The last part, will have been discovering. This is eliminated because this talks about the future perfect progressive, which I mentioned earlier and not part of our discussion today. For those who said to will be discovered, the use of the word be signals that it is in the passive voice. So, but here we have the scientists doing the action themselves. So, scientists being the subject is in active voice. Hence, number 2 is also eliminated. So, is it between 1 or 3? And the correct answer here is 3. By the year 2050. So, indicative that by this time, the action is already completed. So, the scientists will have discovered. Very good. So, 3. 29. If you don't hurry up, the film blank and by the time we blank. Okay? So we need two verbs here and take note of the time expression by the time. So by the time we blank, what type of verb are we going to supply there? The future perfect tense of the verb cannot go together. So, meaning you cannot have two future perfect tenses of the verbs in one sentence, just like the past perfect tenses of the verb. They cannot both happen or be seen in the sentence. So, it's either one. Okay, let's see. But this part, by that time, signals this is your time expression and usually it is attached with the simple present tense of the verb. The best answer here is number 4. By that time, the film will have ended by the time we arrive. Or you say, by the time we arrive, the film will have ended. Right. So 4. Remember this expression, by the time, it's either paired with a specific future time or it is paired with an independent clause with the verb in the simple present tense, like we arrive. It's already an independent clause. We arrive. And the verb is in the simple present tense. All right? Let's go to number 30. Jim's train was due at 6. He blank by now. Notice the expression by now. So by now, the action should have been completed. So the best answer here is when you see the expression by the or by the time or by with a specific future time, it's always the future perfect tense. And you're right. The correct answer here is 3. Will have arrived. Will be arriving is future progressive. So that was in the previous section. And that is not so true with the expression by. All right. 4 will have been arriving. We have not talked about a future perfect progressive. So 4 is eliminated. 31. The team blank at the expedition for 5 hours. Here you see the expression again. By the time I blank there. Remember our formula earlier when we say by the time, what type of verb follows after that? All right. Very good. I think it has almost the same arrangement of words with the previous item. So you are right. The correct answer is 4. And nobody got confused here. Oh, except one. Will be working by that time. Remember our section? Future perfect plus simple future tense. No, simple present tense rather. So the best answer here is 4. Remember, by that time, you always attach it with a simple present tense. But the word by that time, that's indicative of the future. And by that time, the action should have been completed already. So will have worked. 32. By the time we blank on the plane, again, we see the phrase, They blank the luggage. Similar construction with 31. Let's see if you get it. Oh, okay. We cannot have number 3. We cannot have number 3 because number 3 is have gotten. That's a present perfect tense. And our discussion this time is simple future versus future perfect. So number 3 is eliminated. Number 4 is also eliminated because we cannot have the partnership simple future with the future perfect. The future perfect tense of the verb is always partnered with the simple present tense. And so the correct answer here is 2. Very good. So by the time we get on the plane, they will have already loaded the luggage. Very good. Oh, so it's analogy. It's analogy time, but it's already 20:59. So I think I have to end here. I don't want you to keep hanging. I cannot introduce at least some items only and then end the session. So while so maybe as to end this, can I just ask you if you have any questions or comments, or there are things that got you confused in the while we are having our discussion, so that I can still clarify that before we end? Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for attending tonight's session, and I hope to see you. I hope you could join me again next Sunday. As I have prepared, we will focus on analogy on the next session.